Hey students, welcome back. We're going to continue graphing using H-charts today. Today though, instead of picking any point on the line like we did yesterday, we are going to look for specific points on the line called intercepts. So when we're looking at our line and we see that there is usually a point where our line crosses the x-axis, that is called the x-intercept. And then there's also usually a point, and I say usually because some lines are special and don't have both of these points or either of them, where our graph crosses the y-axis, and that is called the y-intercept. So today we're going to look at an equation. We're going to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and then we're going to graph our equation using intercepts. So here we go. Now, one thing I didn't point out that I should. When we find the x-intercept, notice that if we're looking at our coordinates, x is a value, it has a number, and y is 0. That is always true of the x-intercept. The y will always be 0, the x will have a value. Now our y-intercept, again, the y has a value, the x will always be 0. So that's how we're going to find our intercepts, is using that knowledge. So here's our first equation, x minus 2y equals 12. So we're going to go back to our same H chart that we talked about yesterday, where we put our equation in the middle, x minus 2y equals 12. But this time we're going to find that x-intercept by plugging in 0 for y. So we're going to say, okay, when we are on the x-axis, y will be 0. So what's our x value? So we're going to solve for x when y is 0. So we're going to solve our equation with y being 0. So 2 times 0 is 0. So x minus 0 equals 12. So therefore x equals 12. So that's our first ordered pair that we're going to graph, 12, 0. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're continuing that H chart, but this time we're finding the y-intercept, the point where our graph crosses the y-axis. So we're going to plug in 0 for x this time. So again, same equation, 0 minus 2y equals 12. So be really careful here. We don't need the 0, but we do need the negative sign. So negative 2y equals 12. Divide by negative 2, and y equals negative 6. So our second ordered pair is at 0, negative 6. So we're going to draw our coordinate plane, and we're going to graph those points. Okay, so we need to get our coordinate plane, and we need to graph these points. Now, sometimes when you're given a coordinate plane, the numbers might not match what you have. So in those instances, you can either go through and change your scale. It doesn't have to go by ones. Or what you could do was you could go ahead and make a bigger graph, because we need our y and our x to go to negative 6 and to go to 12. So this graph right here, we can see isn't big enough. Now when you're graphing this on your paper, I don't want you making ginormous graphs, so it would be perfectly okay, instead of going by ones, to choose to go by 2s or to go by 3s for your x or for your y. So that's completely up to you. So what I would do is probably just change this to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. Same thing for my x's. This could be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And if I needed to, I could add another line over here, 12. And then this would be -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. So you're allowed to adjust your scale. So the first point that I'm going to graph is the point 12, 0. So over 12, up 0. Then I'm going to graph the point 0, -6. And I see those 2 points there. And then again, we do want to try to use a straight edge, so a ruler or even just the side of your binder, something straight, so that our graph looks nice and neat. Now notice I didn't play connect the dots. My line goes past the points with arrows on both sides. So these are, I found my intercepts and I drew my graph. Let's try one more. Okay, here's our next equation. So same thing. We are going to find our x-intercept and our y-intercept. Doesn't really matter which one you start with. I'm going to start with my x-intercept. So remember, for your x-intercept, x will be a number. That's the number you're looking for. You're plugging in 0 for y. So we have 3x minus 4 times 0 equals 24. So 4 times 0 is 0. So 3x minus 0, I don't need to write that, equals 24. Divide by 3, and x equals 8. So that's going to be my first ordered pair. 8, 0 is my x-intercept. Okay, now I'm going to solve for my y-intercept. Again, when I'm finding my y-intercept, x will be 0, y will have a value. So 3 times 0 minus 4y equals 24. 3 times 0 is 0, minus 4y equals 24. Negative 4y equals 24. Divide by -4, y equals -6. So I'm going to graph the point 0, -6. So we're going to go ahead and get our coordinate plane. Okay, so again, I'm going to have to adjust the scale on my coordinate plane. I'm going to go by 2s again. So 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and -2, 4, 6, 8, 10, -2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I'm just going to graph my intercepts that I just found. My x-intercept is at 8, 0. My y-intercept is at 0, -6. Again, I want to use a straight edge to draw those lines so they look nice and straight. And I'm not playing connect the dots. Remember, I want to go through and past the line. So go ahead and practice graphing using intercepts.